Good morning to the fantastic fours out there. Welcome. Glad to have you back with us. I know I keep going on about times tables and mental maths or mental arithmetic. They are the basis of a good maths mark. So it's so important that you spend some time each day practicing. I haven't had anyone set me a challenge time, so I'm going to set one. I'm going to set one for the 6 times table. Not going to go as fast as I can, but I will count in sixes and we'll see how fast I can go, and then we'll see if you can beat that. So let me do the 6 times table. I'm just using my phone as a stopwatch, and go. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, 72. Just over 8 seconds. See if you can beat that at home. Let's get on with our lesson for today. A reminder, if you'd like to tell me what your challenge time was for the 6 times table, email me, grade4@worksheetcloud.com. If you have any other questions, let me know. If there's something else you'd like to cover in one of these lessons, also let me know. I'll see if I can squeeze it in. And after the lesson, click on the link above and do the worksheet just to check that you have mastered what it is that we do today. So today we are going to look at the order of operations. Operations being plus, minus, times, and divide, all the things that we do in maths. So our lesson goals today, we need to understand why it is important to have an order of operations. Why do we even bother with that? And we also need to be able to apply the correct order of operations to problems that include the 4 basic operations. So order of operations has 2 things we're not going to look at today. We're only going to look at the parts that relate to plus, minus, times, and divide. So what is this order of operations and why do we need it in the first place? So I've written down the same problem twice. On the left, so 9 minus 3 plus 2. On the left, I've started with 9 minus 3 and I got 6. And then I added my 2 and I got 8. On the right, I started off by doing my plus. So I did 3 plus 2 is 5, and then I went 9 minus 5 is 4. Don't know if you noticed that there's a problem with that. I had the same question and I ended up with 2 different answers. I'm not sure that mathematicians would be happy if you could get one or the other answer. How would that work? Imagine you were a businessman and you got 8 instead of 4, or you got 4 instead of 8. That just wouldn't work, would it? And so mathematicians got together and they came up with a set of instructions or a rule book about what we need to do first. All right, so if we look at those 2, the one on the left is the correct one. And we'll go through the order of operations and the rules, and hopefully by the end of this lesson you'll be able to apply those yourself. So here is the order of operations. The first 2, the B and the E, are the ones that we're not going to do today. I'll explain what they are, or I'll show you what they are. We will go into the brackets in another lesson, but we're not going to do the exponents. That's not work that we'll do in grade 4. In fact, even including brackets, I might be making you extend yourselves a little bit into grade 5 work. But the main ones, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. I can't remember if the next slide or I needed to go to the whiteboard. Yeah, okay. So today we'll only look at the 4 operations. That's division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So jumping over to our whiteboard, I did just actually want to start off by quickly writing down BODMAS. I'll do it on the side here. All right, and putting in what each of those are. So brackets, orders. See, I've even written it incorrectly here. Some people write it as BEDMAS. In fact, that's the one I prefer, but I was taught when I was young that it was BODMAS. I'll come back to that in just a moment. So division, multiplication, addition, that's plus, and subtraction. So when I called it BODMAS, when I wrote it down, and this is the one I'm going to teach you, BEDMAS, the E stands for exponents. So this is an exponent. When you've got a number like 3 and you've got a little number up there, that little number is called an exponent. You might have seen it. I'm fairly sure that you haven't done anything with it. I'm not going to explain it. It's not something we need to know. But what I did just want to say is that the word orders is another word for the same thing. So it doesn't really matter if you call it BEDMAS or BODMAS. It's just two different names for the same thing. And I've chosen to teach you BEDMAS because when we teach this to you in grade 5 and grade 6, we use the word exponent. We don't use the word order. So it makes sense to me to call it BEDMAS rather than BODMAS. And if you want to go completely over the other side, many American schools teach it as PEMDAS. All right. Again, not to worry. It's just different words that you'll use for the same operation. So the order is the same, just the names we call the different parts of the order is different. Okay, so we're going to learn BEDMAS. Let me just put him in. Exponents. Division. But today, we're not going to look at brackets and we're not going to look at exponents. So we're just going to look at the others. So what this means is when we get a problem, we first look to see if there's any division. If there's division, we do that first. Then we look to see if there's any multiplication. If there's any multiplication, we do that second. If there was no division, then we would start with multiplication. Addition and subtraction is our third thing. And for this, we work from left to right. So the way we read. And the only reason we say BODMAS as opposed to BODMSA is because BODMSA is difficult to say. But when it's just these two things left, and I'll show you some examples in a little bit, then we work from left to right. So back on the question we had when we were doing it in our sheet, you will see, jump across there, I'm not going to make it big. Over here, when we had 9 minus 3 plus 2, we started with whatever was on the left because we only had plus and minus, addition and subtraction. Right, I'm just going to make a little note that that's L to R. Left to right. I have got some to practice with. I'm going to go through one, and then I'm going to let you do one yourselves. I will give you a little moment to try it, and then we'll go through it together. So let's start with this one, 6 minus 3 plus 8. First up, I'm going to check, do I have any division? I don't see any division in there, so I'm going to go check if there's any multiplication. No multiplication. So now I'm going to go on to addition and subtraction. Because that's all I have, I don't have to do my plus first. I can do my minus first, because when it's just minus and plus, addition and subtraction, we go from left to right, the same way that we read. So, and this is something that while you're getting used to it, I'm going to suggest you do. Let's underline the part that you're doing. So my plus 8 is not going to change. I'm just copying him from one row to the next. And then the first part I am going to do. So 6 minus 3 is 3. So what's happened is that I've replaced this with the answer to that part of the problem. So 3 is the answer to 6 minus 3. And what I've done is I've replaced 6 minus 3 with its answer. And now I'm going to use its answer as I carry on. So now I've only got one thing left. So that's the part I'm going to underline. And 3 plus 8 is 11. if you were someone who counts with your fingers, you can use the law that says we can switch it around. We can go 8 plus 3, 9, 10, 11. Told you those laws I taught you were going to come in handy. Our next one I'd like to look at, I'm going to put in some more. 5 plus 6 plus 3 minus 8. And for this one, if you'd like to go ahead and try on your own, I suggest you pause the video. I'm going to do this one as a worked example. So pause now and you can start it again when you've finished. Otherwise, let's work through it together. So we don't have any division. I've got 2 pluses and a minus. So I've got addition and subtraction. I've got no division. I've got no multiplication. So that means that with the things I've got left, I'm going to work from left to right. So 5 plus 6 is 11. My plus 3 doesn't change and my minus 8 doesn't change. All I'm doing is rewriting them in the row below. Next, working from left to right, I'm going to go 11 plus 3, 14. The minus 8 stays the same. I haven't done anything with it. I've just moved it down the row. So you can see, in fact, didn't do anything, didn't do anything, didn't do anything. I'm just moving it down as I do the other parts of the problem. Only got one part left. 14 minus 8 is 6. There's the answer. So answer to the whole of that thing is 6. I'm going to rub these out so that I can keep the bed mass writing on the side so that you can keep track of it. The next one, I'm not going to just include plus and minus. I'm going to include a multiplication problem as well. So 5 times 3 plus 1. Let's have a look. We would normally check for brackets and exponents, but we're not doing those today. So we're going to start with division. Is there any division? Nope. Is there any multiplication? Yes. So that means we're going to start with the multiplication. My plus 1 isn't going to change. My multiplication is. So I'm going to find the answer to this part, and I'm going to write that underneath, and it's going to replace the multiplication. So 5 times 3 is 15. So it's taken the place of those two things, is the answer of that. I've only got one thing left to do. 15 plus 1 is 16, and there's my answer. In every one of the examples I've given you so far, and I did this on purpose, we've worked from left to right. But that is not always going to be the case. So let me give you one now where we're not going to work from left to right. So 4 plus 6 times 2. If you were working from left to right, which isn't always following the order of operations, you might make the mistake of going 4 plus 6 is 10, 10 times 2 is 20. But let's use our formula, our set of rules on the side, to go through. No brackets, no exponents, no division. We do have multiplication, and that is what we're going to start with. This is very important. You've got to make sure things stay in the same place. So my 4 and my plus were in front, and they stay in front. Now I'm going to solve 6 times 2. 6 times 2 is 12. So the 12 takes the place of 6 times 2 because that's its answer. Now I'm going to add those together. 4 plus 12 is 16. That's making sense. So this is the first one where we didn't just start on the left-hand side of our question. We didn't start here. We started with multiplication because that was the first thing we had. Hope you're getting the hang of this. It does get a little bit more complicated, but at least then for the start, we can keep it quite straightforward. And just remember, if you follow the order of bed mass, you're not going to make a mistake. 5, 3 plus 4 times 3. Okay, this one I'd like you to try on your own. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to write down number 6 so long. So you try this one. Just remember, you follow the order of operations. So you see which one is the next thing you should do. Underline it and do it on the following line. I think that's long enough. If you need any more time, just pause the video. I'm going to do 5, then I'll give you a little time, then I'll do 6, and then I'll do 7 after that. I'll do 7 straight away because it's the first one with division. Right, so first up, I'm going to look to see what operations I have. I don't have any brackets, exponents, I don't have division, I do have multiplication, and that's what I'm going to start with. My 3 and my plus stay the same. I'm not doing anything with them. I'm just copying them down. 4 times 3 is 12. 3 plus 12 is 15. Try number 6. Right, let's go through it. First thing we have to do is not brackets, not exponents, not division. We've got a multiplication. That's what we're going to start with. Leave our 17 alone and our minus alone. The answer to 2 times 8 is 16. Times tables keep telling you 17 minus 16 is 1. Try the last one, and while you do that, I'm going to put number 8 at the top. If you need more time for number 7, pause the video. Let's have a look. Well, we don't have any brackets, we don't have any exponents, we do have division, so let's start with that. So 12 divided by 2. Another way of asking that is how many 2's fit into 12? The answer is 6, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 6. And I'm going to leave my minus 4 unchanged. I'm not doing anything with it, I'm just rewriting it on the next line. Only have the one thing left to do. 6 minus 4 is 2. So I've given you number 8 at the top. I'm going to work through this one. I won't give you time. If you want time, you can stop it and go ahead. I've given you this one because I have 2 multiplications. What do I do now? So for those of you that feel that you're quite confident with maths, you can actually do them at the same time. Because this is maybe the first time some of you are doing order of operations and bed maths, I am going to do them one step at a time. Doesn't make a difference to your answer, but I'm going to do it that way just because it's new. So we've got we've got no division, we've got multiplication, and we've got 2 of them. So I'm going to then do from left to right just in multiplication. So first up, I'm going to go 2 times 4 is 8. So the 8 has replaced the 2 times 4. It's the answer to 2 times 4. I'm leaving the rest unchanged. Now I'm going to do my multiplication, the only one I have left. My 8 will stay unchanged. It's the same one that was above. Plus will stay unchanged. And 3 times 2 is 6. So 6 takes the place. It's the answer there. Finally, I only have the one step left to go. 8 plus 6 is 14, and there's my answer. So as long as you just keep following the order of operations, you're going to get the right answer each time. Number 9. This is another one that includes division. So 12 minus 12 divided by 2. Give that one a go, and I'll write down number 10 in the meantime. We're just going to do a couple more, and that's going to be the end for today. Right, number 9. I hope that you didn't make the mistake of going 12 minus 12 is 0 and 0 divided by 2 is still 0, because we need to do division first. So that's the part we're going to do first. I'm going to leave my 12 and my minus in front where they were to start with, and then 12 divided by 2, we did that earlier, is 6. So 2 into 12 goes 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 goes 6 times. We only have one step left to go. 12 minus 6 is 6. Have a go with number 10. I'll give you 30 seconds. If you need longer, then you can pause the video. Okay. Looking at number 10 at the bottom. Right, we don't have, we do have division, so that's what we're going to start with. So first up, I'm going to write down all the other things without changing them. Then I'm going to get the answer to my division part. Oh, my internet is still catching up. Just going to pause you for a moment while it does. My internet caught up. So we're going to do the division part. 16 divided by 4 gives me an answer of 4. Another way of asking that is how many 4s fit into 16. So that's 4, 8, 12, 16. That's 4, and that's what my answer is. Next up, I need to ask what it is I do after my division. Well, I have multiplication, so I will do that next. So the answer to 5 times 3 is 15. The rest stays unchanged. I only have one step left to do. I'm going to write it next to it. So 15 minus 4 is 11. There's my answer. Number 11, the last one that we're going to do today. Only thing I didn't put into that one was a minus. So give that one a go quickly. If you'd like longer, pause the video. Right, we look through our order of operations. The first thing we have is division. So let's start with that. So 18 divided by 3, or how many 3's in 18? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 is 6. So 6 then is the answer to that part. The rest remains the same. I'm just copying it to the row below. I now check what I have next. I have plus and times. So multiplication comes first. That's what I'm going to do next. My 6 is going to stay the same. My plus is going to stay the same. And then I'm going to do the answer to 6 times 2, which is 12. I've only got one step left. That's the one I'm going to do. 6 plus 12 is 18. So this might look like it takes quite a long time to write all of this out, and I suppose it does. But as you become better at maths, you'll be able to do this quicker and quicker. And eventually, hopefully by sort of grade 5 or 6, you'll be doing a lot of these steps in your head, and you'll end up just having one, 2, or 3 lines maybe of writing out. They will get harder. We'll do some harder ones tomorrow with brackets, but you'll be able to see that as long as you follow the process, the order of operations, BEDMAS, BODMAS, as long as you follow that order, you're going to get the right answer. As long as you're careful, you practice your times table and get that right. That is where we finish off today, grade 4s. As I said, we will look at the brackets tomorrow. We won't do exponents. If you have any questions, email me, grade4@worksheetcloud.com. And when you finish watching this lesson, click on the link above, do the worksheet, make sure that you've understood what order of operations and BEDMAS is all about. And then I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a fantastic day, grade 4s. It's lovely to have you. Goodbye.